So, are you a product of your genes or your environment? It's one of the oldest, biggest questions in psychology, and today we're going to unlock the surprising answer to that classic debate, nature versus nurture. But before we dive in, just take a second and think about yourself. What are the big influences that have shaped who you are, your personality, your smarts, your health? What forces made you, well, you? Because these are the exact kinds of questions that drive the world of psychology. For the longest time, this whole question was framed like a big courtroom drama. It was a showdown between two main suspects, nature and nurture. So on one side, you have Team Nature. This is the idea that our destiny is pretty much written in our DNA. Our genetics, our biology, that's the main blueprint for who we become. Think of someone like Noam Chomsky, who argued that we're all just born with this built-in ability for language. But then, on the other side, you have Team Nurture. They argued we're all born as a blank slate, and we're shaped completely by our environment, our upbringing, and all of our experiences. And nobody, summed this up better than the famous behaviorist John B. Watson. He basically said, give me any baby, and I can shape them into anything. A doctor, a lawyer, whatever, it doesn't matter what their genes are. For him, environment was absolutely everything. So, who wins this epic debate? Is it our biology, or is it our upbringing? Well, as it turns out, modern science had a major plot twist up its sleeve. Here's the thing. The entire debate was framed all wrong. Asking if it's nature or nurture, that was actually the wrong question to begin with. The real answer, the one science has shown us, is that these two forces aren't opponents at all. They're partners. They work together in this incredibly complex and dynamic dance. Here's a good way to think about it. Your genetics, they lay the foundation. They might determine some basic things, like your temperament from the get-go. But from the moment you're conceived, your environment, the food you eat, your family, your habits, starts interacting with that genetic code. It's kind of like two hands clapping. You really need both of them to make any sound at all. And get this isn't just some abstract idea. Scientists have actually found the biological mechanism that lets our environment literally reach in and change how our genes behave. It's this amazing field called epigenetics. So imagine your DNA as like a gigantic library full of books. Epigenetics doesn't rewrite the words inside the books. Nope. Instead, it acts like a librarian, deciding which books get read and which ones stay on the shelf. It's all about which of your genes get switched on or off. There's this famous study with rats that just shows this perfectly. Researchers saw that some rat moms were super nurturing. They licked their babies a lot, while others, not so much. So they did an experiment. They swapped the newborns. And the result? It was incredible. The pups' future behavior wasn't determined by their birth mom, but by the mom who actually raised them. And when the scientists looked inside the rats' brains, they found that the nurturing care had physically altered how their genes were expressed. A mother's love had left a literal, biological mark on their DNA. It was clear, undeniable proof. Nurture was rewriting nature. Okay, so if nature and nurture are this tangled up, how on earth do scientists even begin to pull them apart? How can you possibly tell what comes from our genes versus what comes from our environment? Well, they do it by studying what is basically nature's perfect experiment. Twins. You've got identical twins who come from one egg and share 100% of their DNA. And then you have fraternal twins who come from two separate eggs and are basically just like regular siblings, genetically speaking. That difference is an incredibly powerful tool for researchers. By studying twins, especially identical twins who were raised in different homes, researchers can calculate something called heritability. Now, that sounds like a complicated word, but it's really just a way of asking, for a certain trait, like intelligence, how much of the differences we see between people can be explained by their genes? It's a really powerful way to measure the influence of nature. And nothing, nothing, shows the power of genes quite like the incredible story of the Jim twins. These were identical twins, separated right at birth, who met again as adults, only to find this laundry list of spooky similarities. They both married women named Betty and then divorced women named Winda. They named their sons and dogs the same names. They even, without knowing it, vacationed at the exact same little beach in Florida. It's just an almost unbelievable testament to the influence of our genes. And this isn't just some weird one-off story either. A massive study of over 11,000 pairs of twins found that a whopping 62% of the differences in how well kids do in school could be chalked up to genetics. That's a huge number, and a powerful reminder of the role our nature really plays. So, after looking at all this evidence from epigenetics and those twin studies, after seeing how nurture can rewrite nature and how nature can stick with us, what's the big takeaway here? What does this all mean for you? Well, the answer is that you are not predetermined. You're not just a script written by your DNA, but you're not a totally blank slate either. The reality is that your life is a continuous, ongoing conversation between your genes and your environment. So the final verdict is this: nature and nurture are partners. And the most important part, you are an active participant in that partnership. Your habits, your choices, the environment you put yourself in, all of those things can genuinely influence how your genes are expressed. You are not a prisoner of your DNA, and you are not a prisoner of your circumstances. Which really leaves us with one final powerful question to think about. Knowing that you have a real active role to play in this dance between your biology and your life, what choices will you make to help shape your own story?